Welcome to the intro training exercises for Sharperlight's Excel add-in on Business Central. Please follow the video carefully, and if needed, use the PDF listed within the description for further information. Exercise 2 has two parts, A to B, with part A going through more on value formulas and part B showing intersect filters. This exercise continues on the same workbook from the previous exercise. Open the sheet for Exercise 2. This sheet shows a typical revenue table for a period range, in this case for the year 2022. We have our reporting periods at the top with the start and end date for each period. We will use these date ranges to filter on the revenue value formula queries. These dates, however, can also be dynamic. Double-click on the cell D3 to open the value formula query definition. Here we can see it queries against the reporting period table, and the cell D3 pulls the relevant starting date. The cell D4 will also do the same, but for the ending date. Go to the cell D7 and click on the value formula icon in the Sharperlight Excel ribbon. For our query, we want the mode to be aggregation, product to be Dynamics 365 Business Central, change the company using the drop-down to be =def company, then using the table lookup button in the finance folder, you can double-click to select the GL entry table. Our selection pane and default filters should populate. Now we want to select our GL account number range. Select the From parameter and then double-click on the cell T7 where our account list exists. If your From parameter doesn't change to T7, do that too. For the posting date, we want to have the range be the relevant starting and ending dates. Select the From parameter and then double-click on the cell D3, then change the To parameter to be D4. Lastly, we want an output for amount. Click OK to finish and save our query as X2 accounting period revenue. You should see the value formula populate. Notice its cell formula references three cells, T7 for GL account number, D3 for starting date, and D4 for end date. Copy and drag the formula up to the cell 09. Copying the value formula to column O means it will return balances for every fiscal period, but this might include accrual and adjustment journals that exist in the future periods beyond the current processing date. To avoid confusion, the query can be modified to filter our future entries that exist after a nominated reporting date. To block query formulas from returning balances in future periods, we add an intersect filter to the query definition above, which forces every query to only return records that have a posting date that is less than or equal to a specified date. Open the value formula for cell D7. We want to add an intersect filter, so add another filter for posting date. Change its From and To parameters to less than or equal to =def date. This filter now only returns values for when the posting date is less than or equal to the def date. Open the options for the posting date filter we just added. Filters either behave as an AND or an OR. The default behavior for this filter, as another filter exists on the same field, will be OR. We want to change this to behave as an AND. Change the logical operator from automatic to AND. Then click OK and OK again to save our query definition. Copy and drag the new definition across to update the other cells. We should see the cells with a posting date greater than the def date, which is 31st of May 2022, that they no longer return data. This concludes the training for exercise 2 for the Sharperlight Excel add-in on Business Central. For more information and in-depth explanations, please refer back to the training PDF.